Hey, it's Blake Scarlevi, and I've got another quick pro tip for you. This is actually a Microsoft bug revolving around agents and solutions that we discovered while working with one of my clients. So, as far as I know, there's no easy workaround except for opening a support ticket, except for what I've discovered, and that's what I'm going to show you today. It's leveraging the API. So let's take a step back and talk about the issue here. What we came across is we were essentially doing some feature enhancements while my client was building an agent, and the agent was a part of our like core solution. Well, we tried to deploy the solution, and there was some dependencies on the agent that didn't exist in the solution yet. So since we needed to get the deploy out as quick as possible, we were like, let's just remove the agent from the core solution. So we did that. We tried to deploy, and it's still complaining about dependencies with the agent, even though there was no agent in the solution anymore. Everything agent related was gone. So essentially, it just seems like if you add an agent to a solution and then you remove it, it just leaves some rogue agent components in the solution that you have no way of getting rid of through the API. So let me show you an example of this. So here, I just have a simple solution where I just have one table, custom table called expense, and then I added my very simple agent. And with my simple agent came 15 or more, about, I guess, 17 agent related components. 15 of them are called agent components, and then one connection reference, and then the agent itself, right? So I have 18 total components. One is a table, the rest are agent related. So here you would think, and we can look at this from the API because this will come in handy. So essentially, I'm doing an OData query to say, give me all the components in my specific solution that we're looking at, right? And there's 18 components here, which is what we would expect. So now, let me go remove this agent. So I'm going to come here, my POC agent, I'm going to go remove from this solution, remove. So this should get rid of everything agent related. So those agent components are gone, the agent's gone. It does end up leaving this connection reference. I can go ahead and remove this separately as well, since that's tied to the agent. So here I just have one component, right? And it's my table. That's what I want, and I want to go deploy this. So right off the bat, if I went to do it manually and export the solution, it's going to check for missing components. Right off the bat, it's going to have the dependencies. And this is what's causing the issue where we can't deploy because it's saying, hey, these are required components that are not in your solution. But it doesn't make sense that there's dependencies because there's only my table in the solution, right? There shouldn't be any dependencies. And so that's where there's nothing you can do from the UI. I can actually, and I'll pause the video here, but I'll actually export this, even though it says, dependencies. I'll export this to my machine, and I'll pause the video just so I can show you what it looks like here. All right, I'm back. So we exported the solution. Here's the zip file. We extract this real quick. So here's what's in my solution. As you can see, I only have a table. So it should just be customization XML, solution XML, content XML. It should not be this asset. So if I drill into this asset, there's bot component connection references still, which doesn't make any sense. So one thing I tried doing, if we open up these files, we can see like there's nothing root component here. All it is my custom, and I can't zoom this in. but I just have my custom expense table. That's it. So the only thing tied to bots or agents is these missing dependency nodes. And even in the customization XML, there's nothing here either that's tied to a bot. It's just my entity relationships, and that's it. So one thing I did try was getting rid of these dependencies manually and importing it back into my dev environment. But that doesn't matter. It still keeps them there. I export again, the missing dependencies show back up. So that doesn't fix anything, right? So my next step was, okay, let me see if I can do this through the API. So we can go back to that OData query I showed you before. Let's refresh it. So here, even from the API to query my solution components, I get 2, even though I have only 1. It should be a table, which is component type 1, right? And I get this component type 10171, which doesn't even exist in the Microsoft documentation. So one thing I discovered is there's also an OData query for solution component definitions. So you pull that up as well, and if I grab this type and come here, I can find it, and it's of type bot component connection reference set, which is what we saw when we exported the solution, right? So what I can do is hit the API to remove this rogue component, right? So here it's just a very straightforward using LinkPad, just a lightweight way to hit the API with C#. You could probably use like XRM Toolbox. There's probably a tool there as well. But I'm just doing this remove solution component request. And what you want to do, we go back to our query here. You find the bot component that you want to remove, which is this one. You get the object ID. So let's grab this GUID, and we'll put this in the component ID. And then we want to get this component type 10171, put that here for component type, and then the solution unique name. So this is the unique name, schema name of your solution. You can find that in the overview tab. So if I go to my solution here, click on this little icon, this overview icon, there is the name right here. So mine is called core agent. So that's what I want to put in the solution unique name. So if I go ahead and run this, it should remove that rogue bot component, query successful. So let's go back here and double check, refresh this. So now we only have 1 component and it's our table. So we should be good. So last thing we can do is export the solution. We should no longer get the dependency check. So it skipped right over that. Last time it was showing us we had those weird dependencies. Since I removed those rogue components through the API, now we can export it with no dependencies, which means I can also import it without any issues because we don't have dependencies. So there you go. I'm not sure when Microsoft will get this fixed, but if you run into this issue, that's one way you can get around it. So thanks for watching.